All right, and we are live. Welcome to Tea Talk with the Sisterhood. My name is Dr. Oya Ma'at, and we meet every Wednesday from 1 p.m. until to discuss issues that are on the hearts and minds of the sisters. And each week, a panel of sisters, strong, Black, beautiful sisters meet to discuss these issues. So before we get started, sis, please introduce yourself to the listening audience.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and peace to Dr. Maya. I'm Monica Lamb. Everybody calls me Mo, and I'm with an organization called Tri-City Visionaries, where we help high school students transition from college or to college, the armed forces, or entrepreneurship, as well as tech schools. We also help with a housing recovery project called Gospel Hammond Project here in South Carolina, and partnered with South Carolina Housing Trust Fund with 7 counties to help rehabilitate homes for low and moderate income families. So you can also find me on Black News 102 with the Dagger Squad on the Urban Economic Empowerment Show at 6 p.m., speaking in reference to government certification, government contracts, and not-for-profit organization, in particularly the 501c3 and grants. Peace, everybody.
Hey, and Sister Monica, I also would like to bring to the audience attention that you just recently received an award. I saw it on Facebook. I believe it was an award from Voorhees College. Is that correct?
Absolutely, it was. I was recognized.
Yes, congratulations!
I know, high five! It was awesome. That I was recognized top 10 under 40 amongst the alumni for Voorhees College. We were the first inaugural class, and they gave us some beautiful awards. And they're going to do a monument on the campus. So this is going to be annually. Yes, and so that was phenomenal for the hard work, community support, and all the other many things I do in helping the kids at the college. So,
wow, it was phenomenal. I saw all of your Facebook I saw the pictures that you posted on Facebook, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. You look absolutely stunning, with your hair blown out, and you had on a dress, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. And the event was tastefully done. I mean, I saw pictures of the actual event, where you were sitting at the table and you showed the brochure and the program, and everything was just wonderful, and it seemed like a very elegant affair. So I just wanted to let the people know, about your event, and I wanted to say congratulations, sis, on winning your award.
Hey, greatly appreciated, Dr. Maya. And it was an HBCU event, and that's what we're working to motivate our younger graduates. You go through college and you have your advantages and disadvantages, your pros and cons of what happened during those years and how the school operated and what you gathered out of it. But at the end of the day, lots of us walked away with degrees in which that we've actually used for employment and some other favorable things in life. And I think when I really decided to get back involved with the school was this past August, when my 2 family members enrolled, and they finished their first year. One is on the honor roll. The other one, he's working his way up, but he's doing well. So they finished their freshman years, and I realized how much financial support they needed, because I went to school on basketball scholarship. And I didn't realize the financial struggle was real, because if a letter came from the financial aid office, I just handed it to my coach and kept it moving. I don't even think I even looked at the documents, because I knew my school was paid for, right? And I felt really bad, and so I got involved real heavily with the college, trying to help students who unfortunately were not on scholarships, and I thought that at least my honor graduates coming out of high school were taken care of as far as the financial tuition, but they're not even being taken care of. So I went hard in the paint for those students, as well as those with my 2.0 and above, to help them out. And so as a result, of course, the award was given. But I want to say to most of the people who either you have kids who are in our HBCUs, or maybe you have them in other colleges, wherever you have them, know that this financial cost to go to college is not going away and is steadily increasing. And so the question is what are you doing to help those students while they're in high school? Once they get in college, the age starts to creep up. Some scholarships aren't awarded unless you're 21 and under, if you're in an undergrad. And, it's all type of little barriers that we have to work through to help these students out. So I would encourage anybody out there, if you have students in school, whether it's a tech school, college, university, wherever, trade, licenses, to make sure that you're really tackling the financial piece prior to going. And this is why our students end up in the military, because most of them don't have the money to go to school. And I know it's not the most favorable place, but that's what happens. I have an honor student calling me now from the University of South Carolina, engineering, very bright student. I'm working on him getting enrolled or becoming a part of the National Black Engineers. But guess what he wants to do? Join the military because of the money, the cost. It costs, to help them out.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what you're saying, Sister Monica. I know several of my friends who just had children graduate from high school, and they're, like you said, they're enrolling in the military because the parents simply can't afford to pay for college, and the children did not qualify for any scholarships. So we got to start, like you said, giving back, and then as parents start planning ahead for our children's future, putting money away and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
To that situation in college. And I'm with you. I had scholarships throughout college. Now, my first 2 years at Morgan State University, I had a partial scholarship, but each year I made the dean's list. With at least maybe on average a 3.7, 3.8 GPA. So around my junior year, at the beginning of my junior year, I went to the School of Engineering. I said, look, you guys have me on a partial scholarship. I need more money. There's no reason why I'm making the dean's list semester at the semester, but I still had to pay for my fees in books. And so I went to, I forgot, her name is Miss Grace Mack, but I forgot what her position was at Morgan, but she was kind of like the outreach person, and she was in charge of like bringing money into the university, at least into the School of Engineering. And so I went to her and she got me a $10,000 scholarship from Lockheed Martin. So I was awarded that in my junior year. So anyway, I just really applaud what you're doing, Sister Monica, and trying to get our babies money for college, trying to get them money for college. So at least if your college is covered, then you don't have to worry about that. You can concentrate solely on your studies, because it really sucks. It really sucks to have to concentrate on getting money for college and then also trying to maintain a decent GPA. So I really want to salute you and thank you for the work that you're doing down. And now you do this now. You're working solely with Voorhees College, or do you do this for all college students?
No, I try to help all as many students as I can. If they reach out, like we're getting ready to. I'm going to go on Fort Jackson. You're familiar with, how you take the ASVAB and you don't score as much as you want to, and they allow you to take some courses at the Education Center. So not courses, but this class to help you study for it.
Yes.
So I'm going to do that with students, whether they're going college or the military. I'm going to try to do it online. I'm going to have it live. I'm going to pick some dates over the summer for once a week, and so anyone who wants to participate, jump on live. If they're here in South Carolina, they can come. I'll have a classroom setting type setup and try to help them seek and search and teach them some things about financial aid and how to go about asking and making sure that they're in the loop for scholarships. My high school, amazingly, in Opelousas, Louisiana, the graduating class this year earned over $6 million in scholarships. I was like, so when I go home in July, I'm going to try to connect with those students, because one student had 2.1 million by himself. He applied for they say he applied for every scholarship there was. So I want to get with those students, as many as I can, to find out some best practices. What are some of those scholarships they applied for, and give me some do's and don'ts and ideas on how I can share with many others. And that was amazing, because when I was in high school, I think the most we probably had maybe 500,000 worth, but to have 6.2 million And I think it was only maybe across probably about maybe 5 to 10 students.
Wow.
And yes, and so that was phenomenal. And I live in a very small town. My hometown is not that big or whatnot, maybe 14, maybe 20,000 people or whatnot. So that was phenomenal. And so what I'm gonna do is, I was just doing it on live, but what I'm gonna do is this summer I'm gonna just do once a week. I got a little grant money, not a whole lot, you know, and I'm gonna try to mirror what the military does with that course for the ASVAB. And I'm going to go over there and see if they still have the books, or where can I get the same type books, because I taught that class when I was in Kosovo. I taught that class. It was I did 5 weeks, 3 nights a week to soldiers for them to get their scores up, and phenomenally they all got their scores up over 100 and 110. So they all was able to go to officer candidate and do some great things in the military. So I'm going to mirror that probably starting next week. I'm just waiting to go in Fort Jackson to get the books, and it's going to be live. I'm going to do it YouTube live, and I'm going to use Google Hangout to do it, and I'm just going to take my time and go through some of the subject areas that's really important on those tests, so that those students could get the test scores necessary to land scholarships if they don't have the finances. And then the other area, like I said, I'm going to go through the financial aid website and highlight some of the do's and don'ts to filling out your FAFSA, and then try to give them a guide to, once you get it, because most people, they just get accepted into college and they never contact financial aid or even go and find out what's available. And I found out working with Voorhees that, like, Voorhees Benedict College and Voorhees Benedict College and Claflin University got the UNCF grant. It came out to like 6.1 million, and each of the schools got about $2 million to develop a career path program at the college. So with that being said, that program is being orchestrated where some of that funding will be available for like internships and maybe scholarships. But we've also had a few alumni to give like $100,000 scholarship money specifically for certain areas. And so what I want to try to do, my ultimate goal when I retired, was to find funding or people who are willing to invest in our HBCUs that will help students in the career field that they're in. So not limited just to give the school the money and anybody can apply, but to try to work with departments. Like you said, the engineering department, you was in the engineering department, I was in an accounting department. So with all of those different disciplines on the school campus, to work with those professors with getting funding for their students, so that those students would be able to bridge the gap in college, as well as if they're going to go on jobs or entrepreneurship, that they would have take advantage of those interns with small businesses or maybe a desired workplace, so that they'd be able to transition better. I just finished in an interview with a student that graduated. I think he must have graduated in 2013. If I show you the resume, Dr. Mayat. So I told him, I said, hey, listen, I talked about your resume. I just want you to know that. But guess what? I'm going to help you get your resume. You're not going to get a job like this. This is why you're unemployed. This is terrible. So he was like, I had 3 people look at it. I said, sweetheart, let me tell you something. I'm going to help you get your resume together. You're not going to get employment like this. You have the education, you have the work. So, we're giving you the work experience, but you're not going to get hired. This resume is terrible. It is terrible. And so the objective with me and my friend Janisa is working on this summer. We're going to be going live. We're going to put in the time, 2 to 3 hours. And anyone who's available, even adults alike, and they can gather any information that they can get from what we're putting out, with hopes that it help them land scholarships or employment or entrepreneurship, whatever it is. We're going to put some time in. We've already have 2 classes going right now for the businesses. And one is budgets, and the other one is preparing business documentation. The budgets is on Tuesday nights at 7, and then the business documentation is on Sunday night. And so now that we have those going and they're flowing pretty well for the business owners, we're going to start getting the students involved and getting them ready, because we're behind. We're lacking a lot of pertinent information for employment as well as participating in school in general. And then we're coming out, we don't have the soft skills necessary to be hired. So the 3 colleges I mentioned, they're partnering with businesses here in the Carolinas to do a job placement, but the students are not going. One of the concerns at our alumni meeting this weekend was that the teachers program, they're wanting us to focus on some of the kids going into the educational realm. Well, they're in the programs, but they're not passing the test.
Now, when you say passing the test, are we talking about what kind of test?
Certification.
Okay, the certification.
Certification to teach. What is that? The PATS or the LSAT or got the different and also I'm talking about the GRE, GMAT, ASVAB, SAT, ACT. I think it's the LSAT. What's the other one? There's one more teacher's test. And so, those are standardized type tests. And a lot of those standardized tests is the basic reading comprehension, math, word knowledge, your science, and those type of things. And one of what I've learned with working with the military is that what they did was they had it broken down in about 26 areas of books to cover the basic skills in each of those areas. And so it was designed for you to give a lecture based off the lesson plan for today, and then you actually get practical exercise, and then you do some group activity. And so what I did with it, because that was just totally outside of the people learning their learning styles. So I just kind of made it creative and made games out of the information that was being taught, and then did group studies. So I would make them do their practical exercises as a group, then I'll make them do it as an individual. Then we'll play games to kind of go over it, to try to make it fun and for them to grasp the information, because I think a lot of the students just get bored when they take tests, and so they kind of blank out during the time frame. And another thing I worked on was timing. So I would pull out the pre-test, and then I would get them to practice time. So once a week, I would get them to practice time in a different area. And then I just get them to take it over and over and over and work on their timing, which kind of helped them when they did take the actual test, they could understand how long within themselves, how long they had to answer a particular question. And so with learning time and your own observed behavior on how long does it take you to figure out what it is going on, or do you even know it, or are you even familiar with it? Because I think what's happening with our students, especially on the ACT and the SAT, as well as the GMAT and GRE, or ASVAB for that matter, is that they're not familiar with what's being asked. And even though they may be intelligent and they can, they're really bright, that they struggle, and then they try to sit there and they try to think about it and try to comprehend what's going on. And then you look again, time's up, and they only answer 15 out of 25 questions.
Hey, look, check this out. I gotta be honest with you, Sister Monica. I am a horrible test taker. Like standardized tests, I do horrible in it. I am ashamed to tell you what my SAT score was. I only took it once, and once was enough for me. But I'm a horrible standardized test taker. But I'm just sitting here thinking about our babies sitting in the classroom or sitting in the room for hours and being asked a dozen of questions. Sometimes it breaks your concentration. I mean, I absolutely hated sitting in the room. I think I think it took us 2 hours or 3 hours. Isaiah, when you took your SATs, how long were you guys there?
Oh, yes.
It was
all day.
3 hours. He was there 3 hours. And I mean, I just think it's just horrible. I mean, I think the test is too long. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's culturally biased. I know that was a real big argument in the 90s that the SATs were culturally biased. But I will say it's just entirely too long for my liking. And after a while, my concentration is out the door. I'll sit there, I give it my all, maybe the first hour, but 2 hours, when I'm on the second and third hour, my concentration is gone. What's going on, Sister Roziki L, sis?
What's good, family? Sorry, I had a little engagement.
Go ahead and we held it down though. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers.
Oh, absolutely. Well, peace and power, family. This is your sacred expert, Raziki Zafira. Also, owner of Nature's Crown International.
Now, sis, you were just in Washington, D.C.
I was.
How was it? I didn't get an opportunity to kick it with you, but I did see some pictures and video footage of it. So how was it?
Wait, you said what, sis?
I said I didn't get a chance to kick it with you, but I did keep up with you on Facebook, and I saw some of your, some of the pictures that you posted, as well as a video that you did with a couple of sisters that you connected with in DC. Tell us what the retreat was about, and how was it, sis?
Absolutely. So as you all know, like I do tantra or whatever, but the Grand Trine Tantra is definitely something different from like the Hindu Tibetan Tantra that, like the rest of the world is familiar with. But our power weekends happen every second weekend of the month. And it's literally for us to always just stay brushed up on our skills. And also for anybody who is interested in taking like my class or joining Grand Trine period, we allow people to come to our power weekend so that not only they can see what we do, but also they can learn about, how this art helps, transform you in your life and all that other stuff. So normally we have power weekends in Atlanta, but this time we wanted to take it to DC because the sister you saw on camera, Sister Sarama, she's our high priestess. She's an Akan priestess. She went over there and did like the initiation for like a year, all this other stuff. So she's definitely official. So this time we wanted to bring it to DC, and it was under full moon energy, and a lot of rituals that we do, she's the one who leads them. So that's another reason why we wanted to go up to DC, but also understanding we have a lot of people in Grand Trine that are like in Canada, Colorado, New York, Jersey. So instead of having them come all the way to Atlanta, we said we're going to come to y'all. So I don't even know where to start. The weekend was phenomenal. The pictures that you saw when you saw like the brothers and the sisters, we're learning together, asking questions about, how this is beneficial to life. And we've also had these kind of discussions that you saw on the video, like what are some misconceptions men have about women and vice versa. And I don't know if you saw the video I did last night, but another thing that we do during Power Weekends is like rotations. So when I be telling people, y'all better come get on these tables, I'm for real, because it's an opportunity for you to experience like a session without having to like pay regular money if you would have had to pay, when you're by yourself. So witnessing how a group of men, come on one accord to heal the women was beautiful. Of course, there was crying, there was screaming, there was purging, there was laughing. There were women like, wow, this is the first time I've actually felt safe around a group of men. And then all the men just come in for a group hug around the women. I mean, it was phenomenal. And vice versa. There was a lot of men. And there's one brother I would like to bring on the show one day, because it's very important for young brothers to see how shit still affects you even when you 50, 60 years old. This brother is like, a big brother, like an elder. You know what I'm saying? And there was one brother I was working on, and sis, I don't even know where to start. Like, it's like discovering your power of a woman. Women naturally sometimes attract to men that they feel like they need to help or nurture. And I remember Sister Cheryl actually talking about this one time. Like she would date men that she would end up, having to take care of. And there's a reason why women gear themselves towards that kind of man. But it's like we're doing it in an unhealthy way. It's natural for us to recognize a man who needs healing and want to nurture and help him. But a lot of us do it to a fault. So there was this one brother, I told Sister Sarah, I was like, yo, I don't know why, but my womb is really like pulling towards this man. And at first I'm like, is it attraction? Do I want him? And coming to find out, it wasn't that. There was another instance like where we hugged and I just felt him. I was like, man, you don't have to be so strong all the time. I don't know where this is coming from. So I lay them on the table. We in the rotation. We got the music playing. We then gave thanks to the ancestors, did our libations, asking them to come help, whatever. And I'm working on him, and he just started bust out crying in tears. And then after the rotation, we allow both men and women to talk to the group about the stuff that they feel. And this brother was talking about, him house hopping because he was adopted in foster care, him going to prison for 9 years, him being in the streets and being forced to do things he didn't want to do, hurt people that he didn't want to hurt. And it weighed on him. This is a man who's like 38 years old. It weighed on him. He started bust out crying when he's telling his story. And when he bust out crying, the other brother, who was like 50, almost 60 years old, started bust out crying because he had the same story. And to see these men like really being so vulnerable and realizing, wow, I don't care if you're 20 or 50, stuff still affects you. I don't care how grown you think you are. And like to really witness community come together. So of course, when these brothers are crying, all the women, we hugging them like you're valuable, you're appreciated, you're loved, all this other stuff. And I mean, like, it was just some serious healing that weekend, honey child. So that celebration, y'all saw us in the African club. We was dancing our asses off. So it was phenomenal. Oh, and the lady who I showed y'all the nanotechnology, she came through the Power Weekend and gave a presentation because she's actually has a contract with one of the hospitals in DC to start using these nanotechnologies in their facilities. So, whew, girl, it was a lot, but it was dope. I loved it.
It sounds like it was a lot, and it also sounds like it was very, beneficial. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you guys just convened, and just kicked it. It was very beneficial, but it sounds like it was very emotional. I think I probably would have been seeing men cry. I probably would have broke down, cried myself. And
I did, but that's okay because we need that. It's like when communities, like a group of you and your sisters, there's a certain kind of bond y'all have because you've seen each other cry and go through all there's a certain bond in that, right? And when you have community and witness each other's healing, that's a bond you can't break. Like, that's my family. All those brothers, those are my brothers, or husbands, uncles, dads, however they need, whatever they need to be at that moment, that's what they are. Like, that's family. And that's important. We got to see that. And now I feel more responsible and obligated in a sense to ensure that when they're around me, I'm protecting them in the best way that I can. And they're protecting me the best way that they're protecting me the best way that they can. So, I mean, it's important. We have to start experiencing stuff like that. And that's what I was saying before. Like, we want the results of community, but we don't want to do the work to get there. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't all fun and games. Y'all going to cry and hurt together too. So that's what it is.
Oh yeah. And we just had an event. Before I even say that, I want to acknowledge Sister Cheryl Stevenson. She joined us. How you doing, Sister Cheryl?
Hey sis.
Hey guys.
Please introduce yourself to the viewers, to the viewing audience. Sister Cheryl.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Stevenson. I do government contracting. I assist people who would love to get started with the government. You can reach me at stevensonbusinesssolutions.com.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure I acknowledge you, sis. I saw you slide on in there. You and Sister Riziki slid on in. So I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged you both. But I was getting ready to say, Sister Riziki, that I agree 100% with you that we scream, let's unify, we scream Black power. We need to empower ourselves. We need to unify. We need to build. But a lot of us are broken. And so before we can build and before we can unify, we need to heal ourselves. We need to heal our minds, our bodies, and our souls. And so that's why this work is so important. But you have a lot of people who are so taboo. They don't believe in healing. They don't believe in healing. So I agree 100% with you that we have to heal before we can build and unite and empower ourselves. We have to heal psychologically, emotionally, and definitely physically.
And we all do business with each other too. That's another benefit of healing together. Like when you heal together in like doing business, it's not a lot of the oh, I got a trust issue with you because you may not, provide this kind of customer service. So, man, it's for real. It's not just about personal. It's also about how we function in group economics. And if they don't believe in healing, I ain't trying to sound harsh, but that's on them. Because like I said, this is why I always invite people, because for me to sit here and explain it to you is such a disservice. Like, you have to come and witness and feel like what happens in these types of environments. And once you feel it, you know that it's possible. And that's just how a lot of my mentality changed. A lot of people think shit is impossible. No, like, I'm possible. Like, when I experience stuff, I know it's possible. And as long as you keep cutting yourself and shunning that away, you're going to keep living in that reality. And I don't want no parts of that. Like, don't bring that to me. Yeah, don't bring that to me.
All right, y'all. So let's get started. I know we introduced everyone to the viewers, but I want to definitely make sure that we venerate our ancestors.
Yeah.
Before we start, we always, venerate and acknowledge and venerate our ancestors, because we understand that we are incarnations of them, and they are our foundation. So what do we mean by the foundation? It's from them that we draw strength, knowledge, and wisdom. So at this time, ladies, please call the name of an ancestor that you admire and would like to, that you admire and would like to acknowledge. And please also expound on who the ancestor is. I don't like to say was, because we understand that our ancestors are living and that they are still present among us. So please call the name of an ancestor that you admire and give us a short synopsis about her or him. Mr. Raziki.
Huh?
Oh, you ready? Oh,
yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, Dr. Shirley Jackson. She was an American philanthropist. She's the first African-American woman to earn her doctorate at MIT in the nuclear physics field.
Awesome sauce. I'm trying to think, sis. Come back to me.
Dr. Frances Cress Wilson.
Ashe.
Y'all know about her in the ISIS papers. I need to get another copy. Phenomenal with the behavior of our people, and keeps us with a great understanding on how we should be viewing this world.
Absolutely. One of the ancestors that I would like to acknowledge right now is Yasatiwa. Yasatiwa was the queen mother of a tribe in the Ashanti Empire, which is located in Ghana. And so she led the Ashanti War, known as the War of the Golden Stool. Some people call it the Yasatiwa against British colonialism. And, if you just do a quick Google on her, I don't know if it'll come up, but she gave a speech prior to the rebellion because she was upset that the men weren't stepping up being men. They were allowing the British men to come over and talk to the leader, any type of way. And so, Yasatiwa did a speech and she was saying, look, I see the fear in many of you. You're sitting back and you're letting people disrespect our king. You're letting people disrespect, our chiefs, and our other men. And she said, this cannot be. And she said, if you don't fight, she said, I'll call upon my fellow women. She said, and we will fight the white man. We will fight until the last of us falls on the battlefield. I just want to acknowledge this strong African warrior queen, Yasatiwa, because I just feel her. I feel her so much each day that I'm out here, in the streets and looking at things and witnessing things. I see our men kind of being very, I don't want to call them weak right now on the air, but I've been seeing a lot of things. I see a lot of weaknesses in our men. And
like you see it.
I gotta call it like I see it. I do. I'm trying to dress it up because I don't want to, offend my male viewers. But there are a lot of males. I don't even want to call them men. There are a lot of males out here who haven't transitioned into their manhood, and they're weak. They sit and they watch injustices occur, to children and women, or even to, little boys. And they do nothing but take out camera phones and record and sit and talk to other women and gossip with women about what they saw. Right now, we need the Safo, we need the warrior class to stand up and fight. And I'm with Yasatiwa, and I'm actually going to quote right now. She said, "It cannot be. I must say this: if you, the men of Asante, I say you, the black men of America," she said, "will not go forward, then we will." We, speaking of the women, she said, "I shall call upon my fellow women. We will fight the white man. We will fight until the last of us falls on the battlefield." So I've been feeling Yasatiwa as of lately, as witness these heinous crimes that are being committed against, our little boys, our little girls, and our women. So I just want to acknowledge this ancestor, Yasatiwa.
I have to acknowledge Nina Simone. Like, I don't know why, but lately I've been feeling her energy for the past couple of weeks, and I just kind of feel some sort of way. I didn't know about her like earlier on, but she was definitely a powerful musical artist who spoke a lot about injustices, but more so her proudness to be black and or of African descent. And like looking at her old pictures, like even down to her hairstyles, like there was a lot of tribal hairstyles that she would wear, and her strength was just freaking phenomenal, and her voice was just so powerful and just resonated. So like listening to her music and just hearing the pain and the passion for her people and her ancestry and all that other stuff, just touched me a lot. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to Miss Nina Simone.
Ashe. Ashe. So brothers and sisters who are listening to this broadcast, please share this video on your social media pages so that we can get the number of views up. I already went on to my Facebook page and I went to different groups on Facebook and posted the link to this discussion. We're going to have a great discussion today about standards, and we'll probably mix some other stuff in there, but I really want to talk about the standards of Black women. Sister Monica shared a video with us on Facebook, and she tagged us in the video, and I would like to play it for you. And Sister Monica, I was going to get into current events, but it's already like 1:47, so I wanted to go ahead and and get into the discussion so that we can end in a timely manner. But let me go ahead and share my screen with you. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Dr. Maya, we can.
All right. So this video is for 1 minute and 46 seconds. These are some, and this video features a group of young girls, and they look to be, maybe between the ages of 18, I would say 18 to 21. And these young girls are from the UK, and they're having a discussion with a group of young males about their dating standards. And they said, look, I don't date good guys. They said, I want a bad boy who can tell me to shut up. And so, this meme went up, and someone asked the question, is this the mentality of most girls and women in the UK? And I would even take it further and ask, is this the global mentality of today's young Black girls? So I'm going to play the videos for 1 minute and 46 seconds. Please let me know if you guys can hear it.
We can hear.
Carry themselves like bosses. So because they don't carry themselves like bosses, like it kind of is a bit of a...
Hold on, let me lock my screen because I want to make sure that let me lock it on me. Stop sharing and lock it on my screen. So if there are noises being made, it's still on the screen. Okay. So here we go. Isaiah, give me a second one. All right. So here we go. Let me run it back. Goodness. All right, here we go.
The problem is a lot of good guys, they're not, like you said, they're not confident within themselves. Like they don't carry themselves like bosses. So because they don't carry themselves like bosses, like it kind of is a bit of a put off. Like if I can tell you to shut up, then we've got a problem.
So you hear this? She said, I have a problem with a lot of men because they don't carry themselves like bosses.
I like a boss. I like a man. I like a man he's a man. Do you understand? That I can't disrespect.
She said, I like a man that I can't disrespect.
That he can suckle.
He can suckle me when I need to be suckled.
That's what I want. You're timid and you're quiet. What am I going to do with you? I'm going to be throwing you left, right, and blah, 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 blah. I need a man that's going to be like, Esther, shut up. Hi, babe. I just feel like eventually I might get a bit disrespectful. I might get a bit leery. I might get a bit nippy. There's something very attractive about having a status in society. I don't want you to be a bum. I don't want people to look down on you. I want you to be very well respected. I want you to be up there. And that makes me proud that you're my man. So yes, I want a bad man. I don't want no loser or somebody who's
Wow. She said, I want a bad man. She said, I don't want a loser with low self-esteem. She said, I want a bad man. A bad man. These are what the girls are saying. I want a bad man. I don't want a loser with low self-esteem. The girl that was on the screen prior to this one, she said, I don't want a timid and quiet man. So she's perceiving a humble spirit as weak. I don't want a timid, she said, or quiet guy. She said, I may get disrespectful at times, and I want a guy to tell me to shut up. Here we go.
I'm going to do like bad guy. But let's face it, who's going to be successful with someone who sees you as a yes, I want my man to be respected. I want my man to be bad outside. I'm, this big boss. I want you to come here.
Wow, I want a man to be a boss and walk the streets and be a bad man. Here we go.
And acknowledge who I am.
The bad guy's not coming home. He's straight to the package.
Guy. Some good guys overdo it, right? Yes, you like a humble man, but some are they have a low self-esteem. But I want a man to be, let's face it. I want a man to be very confident. And some good guys are not like that. They don't appear like that. I don't want to be walking on the street. I said some. Some of them don't appear like that. I don't want to be walking hand in hand down the street with a man who is not confident in him.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're hearing what these girls are saying. I want a bad man. I don't want a quiet guy. I don't want a timid guy. I want him to be a boss. I want him to be a confident man who walks down the street and someone who has power. He's a boss. So this is what these girls are saying. Now, this mentality is not limited to the girls in the UK. There are young girls here in the US who share the same mentality of these young girls in the UK. Sisters, please elaborate on your thoughts. I will conclude with my thoughts after you.
I don't even know. All right.
Sister, you can get ready to say something.
Okay, so first and foremost, these are some little fucking freaking girls. Because at the end of the day, listening to them, I want a man that's going to tell me to shut up because, I'm going to get disrespectful at times. Like, for you to even speak that into existence about yourself shows, like, the mentality. I feel bad disrespecting a man now. Like, before, I did, you know what I'm saying? I was one of them chicks, and I had that same mentality, which is the reason why I'm in Georgia right damn now. I said I wanted me a bodman, and actually got to bodman, and he was a known shotter, okay? Dealing with this dude, shit got violent, and I'm here. At the end of the day, if that's the energy you're trying to attract, then you're asking for trouble. A man, you don't have to have a thug you don't have to be a thug in order for a man to know how to protect his family. It's like they're looking for the right things in the wrong way. You want a man who got a backbone. It don't mean that he got to be like, it has to take for him to be like, shut up, or, whatever the case may be in the negative way for you to get that point. Shorty girl who was like, a man who got status. And I learned this word the other day, higher gaming or something like that. Women who specifically marry because of status. Okay, I can understand that too, because some women do want a man who has a certain status based on certain goals or a lifestyle that she want to live. All right, that's cool, but you're going about it the wrong way. Like, when I listen to these girls, I'm listening to what they really want instead of what they're saying. And what they want is okay, but how they're going about it is wrong. you don't want a bad man. You know, you just want to do with a backbone. You shouldn't want to get disrespectful with your dude at all. Like, you should want to be able to have a civilized conversation if there's something y'all don't agree with. Like, they're thinking from where they are right now instead of, well, one day I'm gonna grow up and be a woman. And real men ain't gonna take this ghetto ass shit. Like, that's just what that is. So that's my thoughts on it for now.
Okay, Sister Monica, what are your thoughts, sis, on the video?
Yes, I think Riziki said something. She said they thinking. How did you say that? They saying the right things for the wrong reasons.
Like, what they want is valid. Like I said, I listen to what they're asking for, but not so much the words that's coming out of my mouth. When you say I want a bad man because I want him to be able to tell me to shut up, you're really just saying I want a dude who knows how to, like, put me in my quote unquote place if I get out of line. It doesn't have to be it's in a disrespectful manner or he tell me to shut up. But first and foremost, you shouldn't even want to operate from an energy of disrespecting your dude. She's like, I know I'm going to get disrespectful at times, but why? But why? Like, when you learn how to operate as an adult, me thinking about, oh, well, when I get disrespectful, I don't need, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even think in that frequency no more. I don't want to get disrespectful for what? If you my king, what I'm going to say? I know I'm going to get disrespectful. You speaking that on yourself. So these are girls who just don't know the proper way to communicate what they want. You want to do with a backbone. You want to do as far as status, as far as he may be able to have a good, what we call hunter quality. He can go out and make that money and provide. That's understandable. You're just looking for it in the wrong way. A man who isn't a thug or whatever can provide these same things for you, but not in this way of him gotta be a bad mind. He can make money by owning mad businesses and selling drugs. He can put you in your place, like, you know, talking to you in a respectful, stern way instead of shut the fuck up, da da da. Why are you even on a level to where you gotta be talked to like that?
I figured that's what you meant by it. I just like the statement, the way you said it.
Yeah, and Hootie Ma, I said it. Some of us are just addicted to dysfunction. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
And they looked at one too many Shahrazad videos, I think.
I don't know.
Yes, and I think that, from my perspective, you know, it's what I'm a firm believer of what they say. What you put in you is gonna come out of you. So what you watch, what you eat, what you listen to, you start adapting and acting according to that. And in actuality, like you said, when they grow up, they realize that that's not really what they want. I think they're using slang that they're creating their own definitions to. And then they're thinking that that's really what they want. But I also think they seem like they may be, it seems like when people act like that or they say certain things that is really not the norm, but they're making it their norms, is that they're hiding, they're probably avoiding or hiding other things in life that they don't want to deal with. So that they cling to unnecessary behaviors such as what they want in a man. In actuality, I don't see nobody, really feeling comfortable and being happy because somebody told them to shut up or come here or grabbed on them or, put them in a domestic situation. But I do have to say this, I do in my, like Dr. Maya said, here in the Americas, here I do come across females that behave. They want certain men in a certain manner. They cool with it. They sit around the tree every day. They hang out. They chill. That's what they like, and they're okay with it for whatever reason. But those same females are either under the influence or they're taking some type of drug substance, which to me means they're acting out of body, out of mind, so to speak. So they're into this trance site. So they just acting and thinking that they want certain things and they really don't want it. And so it does happen. Like I said, I see it all the time. But those same females that I see are on some type of illegal drug or they're under the influence of alcohol. And then when they come out, they're depressed, they have anxiety, they have psychological issues, and all of that. So, I don't think they represent women as a whole, but I do think they represent that category of women that get involved with drugs and alcohol.
Sister Cheryl, what are your thoughts, sis?
I'm agreeing with both Mo and Riziki. A lot of this does come from, now, a lot of these girls probably have been sexually abused or abused in some way. They don't know any other way to interact. And a lot of them do believe that, oh, if he's cussing me out, that means he loves me. You know, when you looked at that Michelle movie, it was very sad. But her grandmother was telling her when she was a little kid, if a man hits you, it's basically your fault, and you need to figure out how to fix it. Mm-hmm. And because it is in our nature to nurture, to fix things, we do look at it like, okay, well, maybe I need to straighten up. Well, I ain't gonna say we, I'm gonna say some women out there that has been through a bad childhood or just interaction with men or what have you. A lot of them feel like, okay, he doesn't love me if he's not yelling and cussing me out or what have you. But the thing that mostly stuck out with me, and I hate to be clichéic, but a lot of it has to do with the music. You resonating with that music that's saying you a bitch, you a hoe, you this, you that, you know, and that when you're listening to that on a daily basis and you're in confined areas and you're jumping up and you're opening up your spirit, your soul to this type of music, yeah, that's what you're going to attract. Yes, that's what you're going to feel is the right thing. Like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be on. You know, I'm supposed to be popping mollies. I'm supposed to be doing this. And if you don't have a balance with that, where someone is telling you, you listening to this music, but this is the way a woman should be, you know, treated, you don't have no equal balance there. So of course you're going to think, I need a man to slap me up, you know, in order for me to function like a woman. So it's very sad and disheartening, really, when you look at that, because Malcolm X, all of these other people exuded, you know, they had this air about them when they entered the room that they were 100% men.
That's
you
right.
better say that.
And they didn't have to slap nobody. Cuss nobody out.
Hey, look, Sister Cheryl, I just wanted to not to cut your wisdom, sis, but I mean, oh my gosh, it's kind of like you were just speaking my thoughts. Throughout the video, all I heard was music. All I heard was rap music. That whole bad boy image, and I want a guy that does this and does that. I just said these sisters are tuned in to that sort of frequency, the rap music, that whole rap music scene. And we got to remember, this isn't nothing new. Remember back in the day, MC Lyte had a song out, Got a Roughneck, Gotta Have a Roughneck. You know what I mean? Then you had another brother, he put out a song, I Need a Gangster Bitch. I mean, you get what I'm saying? So all I heard when these sisters were talking was that whole bad mind. And even when you listen to certain reggae music, and I'm not talking about the cultural reggae music, I'm just talking about some of that reggae music. That dance hall, they talk about that. They big up the bad man. The bad man is always big up, you know, in music. And so I hear these young girls who are I don't want to say hypnotized, but who are, their brains are like being saturated with this sort of image of what a man should be or what a man is. Because 9 times out of 10, if I'm glad I wasn't if I were there or on that panel sitting next to those sisters, I would have asked each and every last one of them, do you have a father in the home? And if you don't have a father in the home, do you have an uncle or a male in your family, you know, that you're close with? And I guarantee those sisters probably don't have a strong, positive male role model, male model in the home, or even in, you know, a distant home, maybe your auntie's home or a cousin or whatever. I almost guarantee it. And then the sad thing is, even if they do have it, the music probably is clouding it. You know what I mean? Like they may have a positive, they may have a positive and healthy male role model in the home or outside of the home, but the music is clouding them. You know, so that's what I heard. I heard the music. So then I also thought about this. These young girls are saying what they want in a man. These are the attributes that I want in a man. So they're trying to define masculinity at this point, what they deem as masculinity. But they have a very let me get ready to show my screen. They have a misconception about what masculinity is. And so I always tell sisters, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
I even though this book was written for Black men, I implore Black women to read this book. It's called Visions for Black Men by Dr. Naeem Akbar. He actually produced this book in the 90s, but he re-released it, and it's called The New Visions for Black Men. And I want all of the sisters, I implore all of the sisters to read this book, because our sisters do not understand what a man, they don't know what a man should be or what a man is. They don't know what masculine characteristics are. And see, that's why as women, we find ourselves in precarious situations, because we're dealing with boys and not men. So you say, oh, I'm upset because he lied on me, he cheated on me, he took my money, or he did this, or he did that. That man did this. No, sweetheart, it was a boy that did that. You have to be able to discern the difference between a boy and a man. A lot of us are laying down with boys. So that's why you have a lot of women, 72% of Black babies are born to unmarried women. These women are going out here procreating with boys and not men. They don't know what it means to be a man, or what to identify, how to identify a man. They don't know how to define masculinity. So they think that being masculine is sagging pants. I actually had and my aunt is probably listening. Shout out to you, Arshel. I sent you the link and I hope that you are listening. But my auntie brought to my attention when we were down in South Carolina for a funeral back in April that one of my cousins, he was walking around and he was sagging. So my aunt asked him to pull up his pants. And then one of my other female cousins said, why? She said, that's sexy. So our women, our young girls think that a man revealing his buttocks, they think that it's sexy. They think that it's masculine. Guys walking out of the house looking unkempt, they believe that to be masculine. They don't want the guy that's in school paying attention, you know, a guy that reads, a guy that's articulate. Like, it's cool to mumble talk. You know, I listen to sisters respond to brothers who mumble talk, not mumble rap. I'm talking about mumble talk. And you sisters on the panel know what I'm talking about. When the guys do the they think that that's a masculine attribute. They think that wearing the pants below the buttocks is a masculine attribute. They think that selling drugs is a masculine attribute. They think that walking out the house unkempt is a masculine attribute. They think that disrespecting anybody, it could be a mother, a grandmother, they think that disrespect is a masculine attribute. I blame single parent households for this mentality. I blame the music for this mentality. I blame the television and the internet for this sort of mentality. Sisters, are you there? Yeah. So I employ all women to get this book, Visions for Black Men. And I'm going to show you. I actually have the book. Let me hide this. Let me bring back up the Google Hangout. And let me show you. I never asked you to get something. I never asked you to purchase something that I don't necessarily have myself. I have it. I have the book, Visions for Black Men. And I also give it out. I also give the book out to young Black men in my community. I purchased several books from Everyone's Place. And what I'm gonna start doing is giving it out to the women as well, because the females couldn't identify a man if he was staring them in the face.
Talk about it.
Can't identify him. They think that those things that I named before were gangster. That's not gangster. Gangster to me is not doing what everyone else is doing. Walking your own path, carving your own lane. To me, that's gangster. Gangster is the man who gets up in the morning and he provides for his women and children and the people in the family. That's gangster. Gangster is going out here every day and striving to be a great human being, because it's easy to be an indecent human being. It's easy to be nasty. It's easy to be disrespectful. It's easy to go along with everybody, to follow the fashions. That's easy. To me, gangster is the guy who takes care of his family, his community, and his nation. That's gangster. And I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now and pass the mic. You know I can go in when it comes to this topic, man. I can go in. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic.
I know I made a comment to a young girl. I said, hey, you need to set some standards. You're too relaxed. You know, you're entirely too relaxed, and you're gonna wait too late. And she said, well, I don't think I'm in position to set a standard. I said, well, when is your standards going to get set? You know, not just for you, but for both or whatnot. And I was like, oh, my goodness, you know what? I got something for you. I'm about to put some books in your hand because I'm too mad about it. So I'm going to aggressively speak, and it's going to go over your head. You can think I'm just fussing, but I'm going to give you some reading material. So because obviously somewhere down the line in life, y'all missed something. Somewhere down the line, you miss something, and it's overall, you know, not just the music. So they're being raised by the music, so they're getting an understanding of how to maneuver through life, relationships, and anything else through music, through television. Let's not forget those reality shows.
Oh yeah, disgusting.
You know,
disgusting.
Like,
the only thing that they pick it up from those shows is the fact that. And it might not even be a standard, but just the fact that they dressing, they keeping themselves groomed and looking pretty good. Because a lot of, at one point, you know, our young girls have started to not groom themselves and to come out looking any kind of way. So at least they get their hair done and their nails done though, and their eyes is on fleek or whatever they call it, slaying or whatever they call it or whatnot. But as far as anything else, man, I think they think that just well-being, living, relationships, how they're supposed to treat each other is supposed to, I don't know where it's supposed to come out the tree or something, but I think some people have to be taught, and they're not making themselves available to get taught. So the next best thing is to put a book in their hand. Yeah,
and I agree with you. They need to be taught. And see, that's why rites of passage programs are very, very important. When I went to Randallstown High School a few weeks back and interviewed few high school students, you know, about what it means to be a Black man, or, you know, the definition of masculinity, they couldn't tell me. So here it is. We send our children to public school, through the public school system, to receive what we call an education. And they come out of school, you know, learning the basics. I mean, shoot, some of them are hardly even learning the damn basics these days, but learning the basics, but they can't even define manhood and womanhood to you. And you might say, well, Dr. Ma'at, that's not the job of the school. That's the job of the parents. But what we have to understand is that the school is an extension, or should be an extension, of the household. What does that mean, Dr. Ma'at? That means the culture and ideology that is practiced in my home should be taught and reinforced in the school that I send my children to. If it is not, that means that there is a disconnect. That means that I'm sending my children into an environment where they are being subjected to teachings that are contrary to my household. And if that is the case, then you need to pull your children out of the school system. School should be a home away from home. I don't care. I hear a lot of people say, well, that's not on the job of the school system. The parents expect the school to do this. The parents expect for the school to do that. Absolutely. My child is there for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. I should be sending my child to a school that teaches and reinforces culture and ideology of my household. And if it doesn't, then you need to pull your children out. So with that said, our children need to be in school also learning standards, how to treat each other, how to be decent human beings, how to be men and women. I absolutely believe that. And I forgot what else was I going to say. I think I don't know where I'm going with it.
But the teachers used to be real involved. Like, I hear people talk about how they used to come to the house and, you know, like, talk with the parent like it was real communal, you know. And so a lot of times too, but people don't even like to be told about their kids. So
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. So the point that I'm trying to make is that these people, the kids that I was interviewing last week, when I asked them to define manhood for me and to define masculinity for me, they said they don't know. So these guys are 15, 16, 17, and they don't know what it means to be a man. And that's why sending our children through rites of passage programs is very important, because you get manhood training, you get womanhood training. A lot of these girls don't know. You know, they, like you said, Sister Riziki, earlier, you mentioned how she said, when I become disrespectful, why do you think it's okay to disrespect your man? Why is that even a thought? You want to know why it's a thought?
And vice versa.
Right, and vice versa. So the reason why it's a thought is because you don't know how to treat a man. You haven't been taught how to treat a man. A lot of women don't know how to treat a man. They have no clue. They sat there, they grew up in single parent households, right? So they may have watched mommy in several relationships. Mommy may have been in a relationship. Mommy might not have been in a relationship. So you grow up as a daughter watching your mom, right, emulating her, and she's not teaching you how to treat a man. You don't have that relationship model in the home. So then when you go out here in the world and you get into a relationship, please, Isaiah, when you get into a relationship, you're simply, it's kind of like it's a trial and error sort of situation. You think, you know, that you're trying to treat him the way he wants to be treated, but you don't really know. So it's really trial and error because you haven't had that relationship model in the household. The only relationship models that you had were in movies, television shows, internet shows, or music. Right. So it's a trial by error thing, and it's vice versa for the brothers.
So the training, the rites of passage is necessary. And, you know, like, even with the work I do now, it's definitely something I want to start creating, because I do think it's important for, like, children 13 to 16. You know, they're taught manhood, womanhood, and what sexuality is. You know, like, when we think of the word puberty, like, we think so linear about it as far as, like, physical development. But it's kind of like I can have a Mac computer bought in 2016, but the software on it is 2012. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't match up. A lot of us are not completing full puberty, which is these characteristics we're talking about. How do you treat a man? How do you treat a woman? You know, like, when there's disagreements, how do you handle that? Like, what's the protocol? You know, like, real family planning. So we even lost that art. So
yeah. Absolutely. And I just want to add that, you know, they keep using the word man. I feel like a lot of us misuse the word man. We misuse the word woman, and have to understand that these are titles. It's not a biology thing. It's not, you know, it's not, you know, this guy is 18 now, you know, he went through puberty, so now he's a man. No, you have people who are 50 and 60-year-old males that still aren't men.
Right.
Man is a title, just like with being a woman. That's a title. That's not just something you get because of your ability to have babies now. You know, it's a title. It's a mentality that you had to be a man and be a woman. So you got a lot of women females out here who are 40, 50, and 60, but still have a very girlish mentality.
Right.
So we got to understand that you got to earn your right to be called a man. You got to earn your right to be called a woman. You know what I mean? Right. Because you are an adult human being doesn't necessarily mean that you are a man or you are a woman. All right.
The hardware don't match the software. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I just want to switch gears and talk about just the standards of Black women. I think that, and I'm not talking about all of us at all, but there's an element of us who have, in my opinion, very low standards. Standards when it comes to dating, standards when it comes to mating, standards when it comes to maintaining a household, low standards when it comes to rearing children, just very low standards. I've gone to sisters' homes, man, and Jesus, I mean, they will offer me a glass of water, and I don't want a glass of water from the damn kitchen because the kitchen is nasty, you know, or you say, well, sister, let me use your restroom. You go into the bathroom, you got rings around the tub, urine, the bathroom smells like urine. So I just think that overall, the standards of Black women, and I'm specifically talking about us, and an element of us they're low. They're like little to nothing. I look at some of the men that our women are males that our women are choosing as mates. Some of these guys can hardly talk, but this is your man. You have low standards. He's walking down the street sagging his pants and you holding hands with him. Low standards. Can anybody elaborate on that? Or what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we have lowered our standards? I absolutely believe that. My aunt, if she's listening, she used to always say, it's no romance. It ain't no romance without finance. And that was the mentality of the women back in the day. So they had an expectation. They had expectations of their men. And one of the expectations was, you need to make sure you come in here and provide for me. I'm not going to give you my cootie cat for free. I mean, that's what it was. And the men, they came into the house, they paid bills, and they did whatever. But nowadays, it seems like these men just simply come as they are. They move in. I have a cousin in the last 2 years who have moved in with about 3 or 4 women. 3 or 4 women. Don't have nothing to offer them, but he moves right on in each time. Can one of the sisters, go ahead, Sister Cheryl, please elaborate.
No, what I was about to say is, what actually neutralized that whole, no romance without finance, is that whole, the woman is, you a gold digger. If you need a man that got a job and, got his own money, you a gold digger. So a lot of times, a lot of women was like, I don't want to be a gold digger. So that ain't what, you know what I mean? So it kind of transformed from, okay, I need this man to have a job, be able to take care of not just him, but take care of me as well. So now it's frowned upon when you're like, nope, he need to have a job, he need to do this, he need to have that. And we took the role of the caregiver, all in that one gold digging, turn. But the other thing too is, a lot of women feel, and I've had this feeling before in the past. I didn't lower my standards down to something ridiculous, but a lot of women are feeling like, hey, there's no men out here. And the men that we do have out here, they're not the standard, that the crop that we would like. But what am I choosing? To be by myself or to be with a man? And a lot of women out there, and I know one of my girlfriends in particular, all the writing was on the wall that this is not a man that you marry, or you know what, Dr. Mayat, a boy you should marry. Let's start calling it the right terminology. This is not a boy that you should marry, because he already showed you who he really was. He's a liar, a cheater, bisexual, wants you for your money and is not trying to give back. But what you do, you turn around and you marry this man thinking that paperwork up at the courthouse is going to change him. And I would never understand that. Why do a lot of women really think, they're really thinking this? When I get this paperwork at the courthouse, this is going to change this man. No, he's going to be the same dog that he was before you went to the courthouse.
Absolutely.
But a lot of women truly believe that.
Absolutely. And another thing I want to add, Sister Cheryl, like you said with the gold digging mentality, I don't want to go dig. Then that whole feminist movement came through, right, around the 1960s and 70s. So then you had women saying, I don't need a man, I can do it by myself. I don't need his money. I can do it all on my own. And we sit there and we try and we struggle. Are you there, Sister Cheryl?
Yeah, she's on mute.
Okay. But yeah, so that whole mentality, like she said, shifted. I don't want to be a gold digger. I don't need a man. This whole I'm independent. And you remember the songs that they were pumping out.
Yeah. They had a lot of them.
Yeah, they had a lot of them. Destiny's Child.
They even spelling it out. What was that? I-N-D-E.
Yeah. That was by Little Boosie.
And you sounded real crazy,
Yeah. He said,
that's the frequency you're on, and like we was talking about before, and you keep attracting these men that don't have a job, since you Miss Independent, now you getting a man that's dependent,
Exactly. Since
Hello.
you're dependent now, you landing brothers, you attracting brothers who are dependent, and that's exactly what's happening. Well, Sister,
Wow.
can you elaborate on household standards? What do you feel about how women keep their households? I mean, I see a total difference. I see a total difference in how today's woman maintains her household versus, I'm talking about the baby boomers, and I can go before the baby boomers. You know what I mean? But a lot of, when you look at, a lot of these women, they do not maintain clean households, and they'll say, oh, it's because, I work, or oh, I'm just tired, or I did. They give you a million excuses, in the book as to why
they do it. Yeah.
But then I remember Sister Cheryl and Sister Monique and Sister Riziki. My grandmother, she was born in 1933. My grandmother kept a spotless home. Anytime I would go over there 3, 4, 5 times out of the week. And each time I went over there, her house was spick and span. Now, this is a woman who had 7 children, and she cleaned her house. She made market. She worked, and even would take time to go outside and sweep around her steps. So, I look at these women who don't have no children, or maybe 1, 2, or 3 children, and they're like, I don't want to clean. I work. What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that, sis?
Are you talking? Go ahead, Cheryl.
Well, you know what? I had the great pleasure of being raised by my grandmother, and in that, I learned a lot about how to keep a house, how to cook. Well, let me take that back. I saw that she was cooking. A lot of times I didn't go in the kitchen, but now that I'm older, I wish I was in the kitchen other than just eating. But she definitely tried to teach me how to, cook and all of that. So I learned how to treat a man, how to be a woman through my grandmother, and she was like the best thing you could do as a woman and as a wife, keep your house clean. Yes. No man wants a nasty house. Keep it clean. Make sure you have that man breakfast, lunch, and dinner ready. I don't care if you're working or not working, as long as he's doing his part as far as doing the man stuff. Because right. Even now, me and my fiance have this thing where I do all the woman stuff, he's doing the man stuff. So, yep, I work all day, he's working all day, but when he steps in this house, I have his bath water ready. I have the kitchen, the whole house clean. I have his full Sunday dinner, as they say, with the best of my abilities, Right, honey. And and out of that, you get a good man. You get someone that appreciates who you are and respects you. So we have that. Like, I don't take the trash out. I don't do any of what we, kind of consider the man thing. That's what he does. I don't put gas in the car. None of that. That's what he does. So
right. You don't cut the grass. I mow the lawn because that's what he does. Don't shovel the snow or rake.
Yes. And we just don't have a lot of that identified now because of the independent woman thing, because you're getting a dependent man instead of independent man, because that's really what the song should be. Independent man, not an independent woman.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
And I think that Sister Cheryl was saying, but plus also that it becomes a group effort. But as you stated, Dr. Maya, my mom, let me tell you, I just visited home because I drove my mom back just to add some extra time to spend with her because she could have flew, but I drove her back, and I had one of my cousins' girlfriends with me, and I said, listen, when you get to my mom's house, I said, just like mine now, but my mom is probably 100 times worse. When you get to my mom's house, whatever you do, the way you see it is the way you leave it, even if it's for 5 seconds. And she was like, I said, all right, I'm telling you, as soon as my mom walk in this door, she's going to leave. She's going to go to work. But when she comes back, she's going to do a full inspection. She thought I was playing. Man, when we walk in the house, first of all, it's spotless. All my aunts, grandmamas, I don't care what day of the week it is. I promise you, it's almost like they have some invisible people cleaning as they go. And the girl, we got up the next morning. My mom had already left. I said, you guys need to straighten up, you know, your areas. My mom is not going to be happy when she get back, and she going to cut a food, and she's going to complain about everything. And she thought it was a joke. Man, my mom walked in there, you thought it was a tornado. But when you talk about somebody moving, so then when we got ready to leave, I had departed, but I had left. My nephew had left his keyboard. So when we got back, we went in the house. I said, didn't I tell you we was going to leave? My mom was going to change everything around and start cleaning everything up because we just didn't do good enough. She was like, your mama have OCD. I said, no, they love cleanliness. It is unheard of for a woman's house to be dirty in any form or fashion. Like, it better be clean. And so I was like, you guys have standards that we've never seen. The way we grew up, it was an automatic that you clean behind yourself. No one has to come and tell us, hey, listen, you just left that cup there. You went outside. You're not coming back. You know, you knew when you was done with it, you put it away. It's not that hard. And I think that males are females alike, because my male cousins are just as clean as my female cousins. But they don't. But the other thing I want to say too, in reference to males and females, is that it's understood. Like, we all know, even though we take a role, we put ourselves in these role environments. The male do this, the female does that. Some stuff is understood. So let's say, for instance, let's say your man goes out of town, you just gonna let the trash just overflow? No, right. But in the same sense, we know that predominantly it's his, you know, he's gonna automatically do it because that's what men do. And for gas, for anything of that matter, and I think that when I look at the younger, because we're talking about young girls or young women in the age of 30s, early 40s, 30s, 20-year-olds who got kids and probably even got teenagers, right? And so they're still trying to be the teen. They're doing what teenagers do, wanting to sleep in late. You got kids, wake up, feed your children, you know? Right. You talk about going to the schools, finding out, putting your kids in a school that reflects the home. Heck, school is their daycare. In the summertime, I bet you, if we did a survey of the kids that are out of school, what they're lacking right now, from food to just mentorship coaching, just quality time. These kids is running rabbit in these neighborhoods. No parents, male or female alike. Then the mama get home on time. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Mayat. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I agree 100% with you. Yes. Down up the street from where I live, there's a 7-Eleven there. And my son and I, we were riding past, like driving past and looking at it. And all I saw was, you know, young male and female teenagers hanging outside of the 7-Eleven. Just hanging out, you know, shooting craps and doing whatever, just hanging out. They don't have, like you said, they don't have nothing to do. No one to mentor them, no one to get them involved in a project or some sort of extracurricular, you know, some sort of activity, educational activity, or even just a fun activity. They have nothing to do. And so my beef, Sister Monica, with a lot of brothers and sisters who are having babies and procreating, why continue to have babies if you don't know what's there? Why?
Look, I'm trying to help some young cousins out right now. Even got their little peer little significance or whatnot. And I've set them down. I gave them an agenda calendar book. And I was like, listen, I don't know what you guys think about life, but let me show you where you start. You take this pen and this paper, and I need you to write down dates that you already know that has some type of significance, something going on in your life. I need you to write them down, because after that, we're getting ready to plan your career field, your whatever. So let me tell you, now the girls, you know, they got a little initiative by themselves, you know, they got a little spunk or whatever, and they at least paying attention, trying to follow and guide along. But them hard-head boys, one of my nephews looking at me like, Monica, it doesn't, not my nephew's my little cousin, it doesn't take all of that. And I said, let me explain something to you. I'm getting ready to walk you through life, and I'm going to share with you, because right now we got him You know, he doesn't have to pay for schools. We got him scholarships and whatnot. And I have to be selfish with him sometimes. And I have to boast and bold and let him know you are standing on my shoulders. And the reason that you are in college is because of our efforts to get you this scholarship money. You are doing nothing to deserve it. You're sitting up here, you got a baby on the way, and you looking at me telling me what it does not take all of that. So what does it take? So I asked him, I said, what does it take? You know, what is it going to take? You're 19 years old. You got a baby on the way. You have not a pot to pee on, when to throw it out, a home to stay in, but you are waiting for Monica to be able to take this kid. And so I'm going to raise a child. So I said, I'll tell you what, if I raise your kid, you and your girl, y'all better, y'all going to be in a homeless shelter or whatnot. So he's sitting there like, well, I got time. You don't have time. You got 6 months at best. You got 6 months at best. You are a sophomore in college. You have no idea. You're sitting up there, you said, so the girl says, well, Monica, he wants me to fill out his applications. And I say, well, guess what? You made your bed, you're going to lie in it. Either he's going to do it or you're going to do it. But guess what? Somebody got to do it. Otherwise, y'all going to be homeless. Well, I don't want no man like that. And I don't want to have, well, you should have figured that out before you had sex with him.
That's right. That's right.
Because now you're sitting up here. So, you know, I'm like the Wicked Witch of the West right now, but I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I'm watching it firsthand. Male, female, sitting up there acting like life is gonna, I said, what y'all think, the DSS is gonna give you something? So then they find out social services is not gonna give them anything or whatnot. So now guess what? Now you back to square one. Now you gotta go make some cash to take care of yourself. I'm not taking care of you. Here's what's gonna happen. So they get the book and the pen out, they're writing down, I'm getting them to write down the information and everything. And I'm like, okay, let me see your plan, right? So they have these dates. I said, okay, now you need a financial plan. Now he has a job. So I said, now how much of this money are you going to dedicate for your kid that's not here yet, college fund, or how much are you going to dedicate for your new home that you're going to get that you have to have in the next 90 days because I'm not about to sit here and play with you. So he's sitting there like, well, I got to get this. Boy, them Air Force Ones going to stay on that shelf. I bet you that. I bet you that. You better be looking at some. Exactly. You know, and so I asked him, I said, well, what are your plans? Like, how do you plan to live? Like, how do you plan to live in life? Tell me, how do you plan to live? Like, how is this going to work? What does this look like? Well, I don't know right now. Well, who's going to know? Let me tell you, I be going hard in the paint. I'm so mad at the girls because I tried to tell them. I said, you guys think we're fussing at you? Do you see and I have to use me an example. I use me because I have an injury. But I go hard every day. And a lot of times I don't even go hard for me because I get 2 retirement checks. I don't even need to be doing this stuff. I could be sitting at home watching the reality shows. But I do it to show them. I have to get up every day to show you that you can't stop. Not that Mo can't stop, that you can't stop. And that life is not gonna give you anything. And for a black male to sit there and you just be chilling, boy, let me tell you, I be wanting to beat him. But I know it's not going to do no good. So then I have to resort to, but I'm going to get that book. I'm going to get that book for both of them so they can read. But I'm also, I'm looking for, I have some, not in my immediate circle. I used to have some men who were, like y'all said, when they walk in the room, you already knew it was up. You know what I'm saying? It was just a standard about them, right? And I used to have some in my circle when I was on active duty. But now that I'm been brought into the civilian world, it's like nobody wants to step in the lane. Everybody wants to say things like, well, you know how kids are, or those are not my kids, or I can only do so much. Forget all that. When I was growing up, my uncles, God bless their soul, when they walked, they didn't care who kids it was or down the street. When they came along, you was going to straighten up and straighten out. You was going to get your life together with one way or the other, and they was going to see to it, and it was going to be on you. But man, I'm having the hardest time trying to get men to just like take that particular behavior on to say, you know what, come here, young man, and let me, and then be there. A lot of the men that I know, they do great things. They're great men, but that authority piece of it that can get a guy headed into the right direction, and then that person not fear them, but respect them enough not to fail, so to speak. Right now, I have, oh my God, we getting ready to start our summer program, so I'm getting ready to see all the young guys we seen last year. and they cry out for male leadership. Men, I'm talking about young boys with two-party homes, but like you said, Dr. Marriott, a certain standard, and so they cry out for it. And we don't have enough guys volunteering. We actually even paying a stipend. We don't have enough guys that can come and give them or share with them these survival type skills that are necessary for homes to develop and to create what you call what's done in school, done at home, in a cultural. Only thing we have around us right now is the faith-based piece of it. But guess what? I love the faith-based piece of it, but they are not, it's only covering from the faith perspective. We're not dealing with the social facets of life. It's kind of like going over their head. Like, okay, well, then if all you have to do is be here on Wednesdays and Sundays and then you're good. No, we need they are relying on you to give them guidance and practical skills. They can't just shout on Sundays and Wednesdays. We need them implementing the life skills necessary for them to survive, have healthy families, for them to raise their seed up to be healthy and to create a culture amongst themselves. They can't adapt to African culture because it has standards. It has justification and reasonable actions. You can't just do whatever and then say, oh, my bad. Oh, I forgot. Oh, nobody told me. No, you have accountability to some things that if you know, then you do better. You don't just stand there and just say, oh, I didn't know that I was supposed to take the jug out the refrigerator when it had less than a third drink in it. Or I didn't know I had to clean the refrigerator out, or because you waste something in it. I just forgot. Or I didn't realize I had to wash my dish after I ate my food. Are you serious? Do we really have to go through implied tasks, things that should be inherited right and wrong? We are having to go so far back with our people because we have gotten so complacent. I forgot his name, but he's the one that got the carnation. He was on a beach. He was shooting a video, and the guy was working on the beach, and I think it was a group of Mexicans or whatever. And he said, why don't I see more people out here just doing the ordinary work or whatnot? Where are our people? We just chilling, like you said, standing on the corners, holding up the walls, doing this extra stuff. And I'm like, who's going to feed y'all? Or are you going to go back to your parents' house and wait for your mom to cook? Well, who's going to wash the dishes once she cooks? Or are you waiting for her to do it all? Or can you at least take the trash out for her while she's doing that? And oh, by the way, who's tutoring the kids? Because it's summer. They can't just have fun all summer. Somebody has to be doing something. It's like things that are automatic to us, things that animals automatically do in the cultivating their little cubs and their little chicks and their little, and getting them ready for life. We as human are not doing. Like,
yep, and that's the thing. We're operating at a lower frequency than animals. How about that?
And that's crazy. and when you talk about rites of passage, we're having to. I'm trying to help people put together programs right now, and that we are thinking from the advanced level of what somebody needs done. Like, we have to go all the way back to, hey, listen, while you're pregnant, here's what you need to be doing for your kid and for you. Then when the baby comes, it needs to do that. Oh, by the way, don't forget the social aspect of it and the behavior aspect of it and the psychological aspect of it and financially. Like, you have to cover everything because we're all covering little bits and pieces. And it's sad because you would think it would be done in a family, but now we got 2 or 3 generations under us who has no clue. So when we talk about what our grandmother's done or our great grandmother's done, they're looking at us like, what are you talking about? Like, it gets done nowhere. So if you let your child come from your household to somebody else's household, guess what? The blind is leading the blind. So they coming out your place and they ain't getting no guidance. Then they going to the cousin down the road or the best friend down the road. They ain't getting no guidance. And oh, by the way, they're part of a sport where they just disrespecting the coaches, or the parents going disrespect the coaches, and oh, now we have no help nowhere. We need so much help that it is heartbreaking. And it is hard. I'm sorry, I just went on a rant because I'm dealing with it right now with young people, 21-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-olds, and I'm sitting up here saying, what is going on in your mind that you honestly think that you can just chill?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I always ask, my 2 little men, Harvey and Isaiah. I said, I asked them, how do you spend your time? Like, what do you do for your personal edification? Other than, us work on Ed Anime Productions, what do you do to better yourself? You get what I'm saying? What do you do for your own personal edification? Because I'm bending over backwards trying to establish a company so that you'll be able to have products to sell. You get what I'm saying? You'll have products to sell and be able to make some money just to sustain yourself. But outside of what I'm working to do, and of course they are assisting me, with doing this, I'm not doing it by myself. What are you doing? Like you said, what in your mind thinks you have time to chill and stay on social media all day? That's it's stupidity at this point. It's stupidity to waste your time. You sit there. I mean, and this is not just them. You got young folks in the family. You ask them, what are you doing with your time? Nothing, because you on Snapchat, you on Facebook or Instagram. What are you doing for your own edification? What are you doing for self that will allow you to take care of your family, take care of yourself and your family 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? What are you doing? Like you said, Sister Monica, what's in your mind? Why do you think it's okay to chill? This is grind time right now. This is grind time. But like you said, Sister Monique, I think parents have made it very comfortable for these children. I think that we've made it comfortable. Give them everything. This is the gimme generation. Yeah. Instead of the let me earn it generation, they've had everything given to them, so they don't know how to go out and get it because they've been born with a silver spoon in their mouth. I remember when I was a kid, and my mother did a fantastic job. I mean, I love my mommy to death. She did a phenomenal job. But at the end of the day, my mother was a single parent. All right. And she had 2 babies. And she worked at one point, she was working 2 jobs to maintain. And then 2 jobs went to 1 job as she continued to advance on one particular job. And I remember when I was a kid and, I was a part of a church. And when I sung like solos at the church or did good things, then my mother might take me out to Wendy's to get, I used to love bacon cheeseburgers. So I'll say, Mom, I want a bacon cheeseburger. But I only got that if I did something well, if I did something good. Or, if I wanted a toy from McDonald's, it was if I wanted a Happy Meal from McDonald's, it was, I got it if, I had a good report card. So I was rewarded for doing something good. It seems like as parents, we just reward these children for nothing. I remember being a kid, and at the beginning of every summer, I would have to unpack summer clothes from the previous summer and see what could fit and what could not fit, and whatever couldn't fit. Mm-hmm. I would pass that down to my younger cousins, and I had older cousins that would pass down clothes to me. We don't do that with our children now. Mm-hmm. Instead, we want them in the latest Jordans. They're rocking name brand belts. I'm seeing children wear Louis Vuitton belts, Gucci belts, Fendi belts, Burberry belts. I mean, we just give everything to these children, and they don't earn anything. And then we expect for them to go out here and be go-getters. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't give a kid something over and over and over again, and then expect them to just magically become a go-getter. We need to make our children earn things. Go ahead, I'm gonna pass the mic.
And then you see them, the worst part is that those same kids, you got kids that are coming underneath those kids, right? Like, I got an 8-year-old nephew and then an 11-year-old, and they will, sometimes every now and then, not often, but every now and then they'll mimic something that they see the 20-year-olds do, right? And then the 20-year-olds will get upset and want to correct them. And I'll say, they're a product of their environment. They're only doing what you do. What do you mean, Mo? I'm like, okay, every time when I see you correct them and I see you do that same action, I'm going to point it out to you.
That's
and
right.
I'm going to show you how they're mimicking your behavior, and you don't even know it. Like, you know it, but then you choose to ignore it. But then it's bad for them to do it, but it's not bad for you to do it, But you need to understand that we are creating our own madness. Like, it's going from generation to generation because you're not correcting yourself. you know. And so when
Exactly.
you get individuals that come around, or family members or friends who come around and who would they like to call bougie, but may not live that actual bougie word, but they just dressed appropriate. um they dress, you know, they groom very nice, and you know they got normal nice stuff and clothing, and they, you know, they speaking, and they may speak some slang, they chilling, but they just doing good things. They're not all high and out of their body and mind, and nothing against those who use it for whatever reason, but this particular atmosphere that I'm talking about is the one that sits under the tree all day and does nothing. The
Oh, I
one
believe you.
that doesn't, or maybe hold a job down and they pay their bill, but then they use all their exposable money. But then when the kid needs something, they don't have it. That
Yeah.
those people right there, you know, or maybe the ones who are allowing the younger teens to participate in the activity with them, right? And so although one is trying to correct environment of things, well, you're going to fall right back into it. And I tell some of my little cousins, I say, hey, listen, you may be doing some good things, but if you continue to participate in this particular behavior right here, guess what's going to happen when you come out of college, the military, all these little different things you're doing right now that's going to last for the next 3 or 4 years. When you get into a depressed state, or maybe you get in between a hard place and a rock, or maybe you just faced an obstacle, you're going to rely on this stuff to calm you down. You're going to rely on it to keep you in a certain mood, because that's going to be your go-getter to avoid things. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to become codependent on it, and you look again, you're going to be addicted. What do you do with that? You know, because the higher it goes, the more you say you call it bump. Somebody tested, we call that a bump. You're right. You know, at the end of the day, and so when we hear the video earlier and those girls describing who they want, because guess what, those guys are finessing those girls, and so they thinking those behaviors are cool. Well, maybe you're not being attractive, or maybe the volume of men that you're getting are coming from that environment because you want to chill too, and you just like that, and you know that's just where you want to be. But like Sister Riziki said, what happens when you grow up? Woo! And you get to 30 and 40, and you no longer could be in the little cute little clothes y'all like to wear, or you know, speak a certain slang when you go on the job, because now you got to operate in a professional manner. You have no information in you that's going to come out of you that's going to save you. So where you end up on the less paid jobs. Not that you don't have a job, you just won't get one that's going to bring you over the mark. And now you're going to start going back into those same type of atmospheres. I think that you're right. They are selling their food stamps, and they probably they're giving away their child support checks and everything else. I think that we have so much work to do when it comes down to rites of passage. I think we need to check the programs that are available in the community to the kids. Like case in point, we have our parks and recreations probably have the predominant programs in the Columbia area, in our low and moderate income areas. And the most that we're offering our children is the sports, right? And so with the sports, probably the coaches may need to try to implement an hour out of their practice, or maybe once a week, some rites of passage characteristic type of information, or maybe even team building exercises to kind of help that. Because the only thing I see that we have here is the sports. Either they're in sports during the summer, they're in dance. You know, some people might try to push in academic, but guess what? It may last for about 30 minutes to an hour for the entire summer, you know, for the whole day. And then those kids are playing, and the kids are running around, and they're not really getting anything. I'm very appreciative to coming across people like you, Dr. Maya, Sister Riziki, Amara Squad, everybody that I've come across in the last year, because I never really paid attention to you know, being a whole African center type person and what that meant. That was unheard of, you know, where I come from. That wasn't even an idea or something that we even did. Did I have good upbringing? Yes. Was it mirrored or balanced with that type of information? No. We just had some good people who did some great things, parents, cousins, aunts who lived a great life, and we picked up some of those traits and did it. But now to understand how to to balance home, school, and being African centered, and why, and what are some of those elements that keep a village, a community, and a family together is very important. And so now the idea to share it and capture, or maybe influence some of the other family members, or maybe some other friends on, hey, listen, this is why this is important and effective. I think you should probably do a show on that, Dr. Mayada. I like Ben did a presentation with the Amarat No Pseudo Tour, and he broke down African spirituality in a very practical manner and a step for step, who is who and what is what, because you know how people identify our African culture and put all kind of stamps on it for being this and being that from an evil perspective. And I think when you speak in terms of rites of passage, of giving somebody an idea of what that really looks like how does that really work? What are the mechanics of that? And how, because I think that for the most part, the only rites of passage that most people are maybe even close to familiar with is Greek organizations, right? Fraternities, sororities, those type of deals.
I agree with you. That's true. And maybe, and I'm definitely game to do, or maybe next week we could do a show on, rites of passage. Where is it? How was it practiced? Why was it formed? You know what I mean? I would love to do a show on that, because you're right. I mentioned it, but I didn't expound on what it is. And essentially, rite of passage is, your manhood or your womanhood training. For us to be, it's like you had to earn your right to be called a man. You had to earn your right to be called a woman. So you went through various obstacles during this training to prove your manhood and to prove your womanhood. And so I would love Sister Monique to do a show on that, because our brothers think that rites of passage, really, when I talk to young boys about what it means to be a man, you know what they say to me, Sister Monica?
Yes.
They think that being a man is having sex with a woman.
Yep, I knew it.
They think that that's a rite of passage. I'm no longer a boy because I've had sex, or because I now can impregnate a woman that makes me a man. And so they really think that having sex with multiple women, that's like, is validating or confirming their manhood. So, we got to do better. We got to do better as parents. We have to do better as a community. We have to do better as a nation. And we have to raise our bars. We have to raise our standards for ourselves, our standards for our family, our standards for our communities, hell, our standards for our nation. We have to do better. And we start doing better. Start this by doing better in our own households. Starting with ourselves, starting with our mates, starting with our children. So let's bring this to a close. It's 2:57, almost 3 o'clock. So we've been going strong for about, 2 hours. And do the sisters have any last words before we close out?
I just want to say, hey, peace and thanks everybody just for tuning in. I was looking through the chat and there's a lot of good compliments, especially from our brothers out there who are who listening and chiming in. I just think that, on the spot corrections, let's keep it going and do what you can in your immediate circle to kind of turn or influence our people into the right direction. And 8, stay tuned. 6 o'clock, Urban Economic Empowerment Show, Black News 102 with the Dagger Squad. Peace. Thanks, Dr. Maya.
No problem, Sister Monique. Sister Raziki, Sister Cheryl, any last words, sis?
Yes, peace and power. Have a wonderful week. Y'all.
All right.
Thanks for having us on, Dr. Maya, and everybody have a good week.
All right, I'm just, I'm not going to be long-winded, but I do want to say this. Please support the Meltrek Project. I hear a lot of you say, I love Dr. My aunt. Sister Monica, mute your mic. I hear a lot of stuff in the back. But I hear a lot of brothers and sisters, they love Dr. My aunt. They love support Dr. My aunt by visiting Ed Anime Productions and purchase Meltrek. There are a lot of brothers and sisters who've already been receiving their DVDs. We have Meltrek Episode 1 and Meltrek Episode 2 available. Now, the Meltrek Project is a project that teaches children African history, or should I say African American history, from an African perspective. What will this do? What are we trying to do? We're trying to change the self-perception of Black children. We're trying to expose our babies to positive images of self, right? Because a lot of we got to remember that children mimic what they see. So if we want our children to be something different, we have to show them something different. They have to see something different. And that's what we're doing with the Meltrek Project. All right. So I call this edutainment. It's educational and it's also entertainment. In Meltrek episode 1, entitled Exploring Ancient Africa, the objective of this episode is to teach children that the history of African people does not begin with slavery. So we take children back to pre-diaspora Africa. So before colonialism, before enslavement, and we expose them to Black civilization, and we show them that Black men and women established kingdoms throughout Africa. Okay. And we gave science and math and religion and architecture and even morality to the world. So that's what our babies learn in Meltrek episode 1. In Meltrek episode 2, exploring the pre-Columbian Americas, children learn that there was an African presence in the Americas prior to Christopher Columbus. So we're doing away with that whole myth that the first time Africans came to the Americas was by way of the transatlantic slave trade. There were already Africans here in the Americas. So in Meltrek episode 2, we teach children about those African people and how they got here. And we also teach them about the Aboriginal cultures of the Americas. These are phenomenal productions. I believe that all children, and particularly children of color, should have Meltrek in their collection. So please visit edanimeproductions.com to purchase your copy of Meltrek episode 1 and 2 today. We also have coloring books and posters, storybooks available. So just take your time, go onto the website and peruse the store and check out what we have, and please support. Because a lot of us, I got to say this, Sister Riziki, Sister Monica, and Sister Cheryl, a lot of us think that support is when we simply like a post or share a post. Black businesses do not need your likes or your shares. I mean, we love your likes and we love your shares, but we need your dollars, okay? So it's cool to like a post, it's cool to share a post, but we need your dollars. We also need you to tell your friends and family about our products so that we can get these products into every Black household in America. So with that said, meet us here, come back here on Wednesday from 1 to 2. We're here every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Come kick it with the sisters. Peace and Black power.